Hi, Eddie Murray, former Detroit Lion. Make sure you watch Micro Mike on YouTube.
What's going on YouTube? This is your boy Mr. Micro Mike, and today I'm going to talk about the Detroit Lions versus the Arizona Cardinals, matchup, breakdown, analysis, and prediction. Before I get into the video, make sure you subscribe to myself, hit the bell for all my notifications, and leave me a comment. Tell me how you think this bad boy is going to play out. Before I get into the video, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the roundtable is on Luke G. Fields' review, where we're going to talk all things Detroit versus Arizona. Let's get into the video. So when we go into the matchup, let's first talk about the quarterback position of the Detroit Lions with Matthew Stafford versus the Arizona Cardinals rookie, Kyler Murray. Now, Matthew Stafford is a veteran. He's been in the league for nearly a decade. He is fairly consistent when it comes to putting up quality numbers, and for the Detroit Lions, he has done a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, but he's been inconsistent when it comes to some games due to, in my personal opinion, a lot of the lack of offensive coordinator that had the ability to really help him out and utilize a run game that we have not had for some time. I believe this year, when it comes to Matthew Stafford, he's going to have a much better season, and it starts week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals. I think Matthew Stafford's going to put up around 350 yards, possibly 2 touchdowns, and will ultimately be better of the quarterbacks. When it comes to Kyler Murray, he's a rookie quarterback. I believe he's going to have his rookie issues this week. However, I do feel he is a franchise-type quarterback, and he's going to turn into one great quarterback. However, he does not have the tools around him to really help him get in that position this year, and it really hurts when you don't have a quality offensive line. I think Kyler Murray is a great quarterback, and when he does get an offensive line and he gets better wide receivers around him, he will do well. Unfortunately, they had a good wide receiver they drafted who got injured and will not be playing in this game. I believe the Detroit Lions, in this regard, has the advantage in the quarterback position. When it comes to the running back position, the Detroit Lions have Kerryon Johnson as C.J. Anderson and Ty Johnson. The Arizona Cardinals have David Johnson and Chase Edmonds. When it comes to the running back position, I feel this is somewhat of a wash. I feel Kerryon Johnson's going to have a great year this year. He's going to have over 1,000 yards for the first time in a long time for the Detroit Lions since Reggie Bush. I think Kerryon Johnson has the ability to really hit the holes, and he's patient, balanced, and he has everything, the intangibles, to be a quality running back in this league. And I feel he's going to have a good amount of yards this game, have over 100 yards and a touchdown. I think C.J. Anderson will be a good complement to Kerryon Johnson. And when we need to get those dirty yards in the fourth quarter, I think he'll be utilized well. Ty Johnson, I believe, will be in the formations. He's going to do jet sweeps. I'm not sure exactly how much he'll be utilized in this game, but I do feel it's a good 1-2-3 punch. When it comes to the Arizona Cardinals, they do have a really good running back in David Johnson, and I feel the issue with him, though, is their offensive line is not going to be helping him out that much, and they're going against the Detroit Lions defensive line that's very stout against the run. I feel he's going to have 65 yards, possibly 1 touchdown in the run. That will be at the end of the game when the Lions are starting to run on the clock. So when it comes to the matchup of the running back position, I do feel the Lions have a little bit advantage, just a little bit, due to the fact that Arizona will be running a lot, and they do have a good running back in David Johnson. Let's jump to the wide receiver positions. The Detroit Lions have Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones Jr., and Danny Amendola. The Cardinals have Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk. I feel that the Lions do have an advantage when it comes to the wide receiver position here, and the reason I feel like they have an advantage is they drafted a guy who was going to really help out Kyler Murray this year because he did a lot in preseason. Unfortunately, he got injured, and I think that's going to hurt the Arizona Cardinals and ultimately hurt their wide receiver position. I do feel, obviously, that Larry Fitzgerald is a Hall of Fame wide receiver. He's going to get his for sure. Just, I don't know the amount of time that Kyler Murray is going to be able to throw the ball to their wide receivers due to, again, their offensive line issues. I think that's the really big issue when it comes to the offense of the Arizona Cardinals, is that offensive line. And I just feel the Lions have an advantage here due to Kenny Galladay is now a veteran. When you go against Marvin Jones Jr., he has the deep threat as well as Danny Amendola for the third down. I think the Lions have a better offensive line, and we're going against a defensive line that is not as stout as the Lions. So I do feel the Detroit Lions has an advantage when it goes to wide receiver position. I believe Kenny Galladay will have over 100 yards and multiple touchdowns when it comes to the wide receivers. Possibly 2. Next, let's go to the offensive line. The Detroit Lions has Taylor Decker, Joe Dahl, Frank Ragnow, Graham Glasgow, and Ricky Wagner. The Arizona Cardinals has DJ Humphries, Justin Pugh, Mason Cole, J.R. Sweezy, Marcus Gill. When it comes to the Detroit Lions, I believe they have a midway offensive line. They're halfway in the league. I would say around 14-15 around the NFL. I believe they're going to do better than they were last year due to the offensive coordinator scheme. Plus, we built up strength with Joe Dahl replacing the left guard, as well as now Frank Ragnow is at center, and it's going to really help out that offensive line. I think they have a major advantage of the Arizona Cardinals, who I believe is one of the worst offensive line in the NFL. If you looked at preseason, Kyler Murray was running for his life, and that's going to be the downfall for this team this year, and hopefully next year in the offseason they could go ahead and upgrade the offensive line. But when it comes to this game, going against Detroit's top 5 defensive line, they're going to have major issues, and I give the Detroit Lions a major advantage in that front. Let's jump to the tight end position. The Detroit Lions has TJ Hockenson and Jesse James. The Arizona Cardinals has Max Williams and Charles Clay. This is, again, a major advantage for the Detroit Lions. TJ Hockenson is going to explode this year, and he's going to start week 1 versus the Arizona Cardinals. The guy is always open, and he catches everything. He is going to have a great game, and I think the NFL is going to be put on notice today that this guy is a Pro Bowl tight end. He is everything and plus more when we drafted him in the first round. Jesse James is a fantastic tight end who's going to complement TJ Hockenson well, and he's going to get open and help Matthew Stafford out on those third downs and play actions. The Arizona Cardinals do feel they have a fairly good tight end, though, in Max Williams as well as Charles Clay. I think they'll get some of their plays in, and I think Kyler Murray will throw to them specifically on third down. It'll all depend on how our linebacking core deals with their tight ends. I think they'll definitely get some of their plays in, though, this game. I think Kyler Murray will defer to their tight ends, and what helps out a rookie quarterback a lot, tight ends do. They absolutely do, and so I do feel the Detroit Lions, though, have major advantage in this case. When it comes to special teams, we're going to talk about Matt Prater, Sam Martin, and obviously who will be Jamal Agnew doing punt kickoffs versus the Arizona Cardinals, Zane Gonzalez and Andy Lee. I think the advantage here is the Detroit Lions. We have a great kicker, Matt Prater, who literally kicked a 61-yarder in preseason, and he holds the NFL record for the longest kicking field goal in the NFL. And Sam Martin is a good punter who always punts within the 5-yard line, however, can make bunk plays here and there. I think Zane Gonzalez and Andy Lee are decent as well. I do feel the Lions have an advantage here, but however, I'm going to go ahead and say it's equal because of special teams. I think there's going to be a lot of kickoffs that's going to hit in the end zone and resulting on both teams getting on the 25-yard line. I see a lot of that taking place. Plus, I do see the special teams when I believe the Lions are going to go ahead and take a lead in this game, and the Kyler Murray is going to get the ball sometimes up and down the field, result in a couple field goals. So I think it'll be a wash in this game. Advantage, draw. Let's jump to the defense to start with the secondary, the cornerback position. The Detroit Lions has Darius Slay, Rashawn Melvin, and Justin Coleman as their 1, 2, 3, and Byron Murphy. Unfortunately for Arizona Cardinals, they lost their number 1 due to suspension, the great Patrick Peterson, and their number 2 cornerback went down for an injury Unfortunately for them, that is absolutely terrible. The advantage here is obviously the Detroit Lions due to the injury of their second-string quarterback and the suspension of their number 1 cornerback, Patrick Peterson. When they're healthy and all 3 cornerbacks are on the field, though, they do have a great secondary. Unfortunately, they're not going to be playing versus the Detroit Lions week 1. I think the Lions by far has a better secondary in this game due to Darius Slay, a Pro Bowler, Justin Coleman, the best nickel corner in the NFL last year, and Rashawn Melvin is a decent second-string cornerback. I do believe Byron Murphy is a really great pick for the Arizona Cardinals, and I think he'll have his plays, but he's also a rookie, and we know rookie cornerbacks do make mistakes. However, he is going to be a great corner for them for years to come. Advantage Detroit Lions. Let's jump to the safety position. The Detroit Lions has Quandre Diggs and Tracy Walker as their safeties, and the Arizona Cardinals has Budda Baker and DJ Swearinger. I feel like the Arizona Cardinals have very good safety position. Those 2 safeties are very good. Unfortunately for them, their cornerbacks are down, and they're going to have a lot of pressure put on them due to the injuries of their number 2 cornerback and the suspension of their number 1 cornerback, and I think that's going to hurt them. In this game, I feel the Detroit Lions have a better situation of their safeties compared to the safeties in the situation of the Arizona Cardinals. In my opinion, this is a draw. However, it will get a lot better for Arizona once their number 1 and 2 cornerbacks get in the game, and then they can utilize their safeties much more in position what it should be compared to how it's going to start in the beginning of this season. So I consider this a draw. When it comes to linebacker position, the Detroit Lions has Devin Kennard, Christian Jones, Jelani Tavai, and for the injured Jared Davis, I'm going to assume it's Jalen Reeves-Maybin. The Arizona Cardinals have Hassan Reddick, Chandler Jones, Jordan Hicks, and Terrell Suggs. That is a very good linebacker position for the Arizona Cardinals. I do feel they have the advantage here in this sense because Jared Davis is probably not going to play. I feel that they have a really good linebacker position, underrated, I believe, in this league. However, I think the interesting part to see how this goes is via the defensive line. Always help out linebackers. The Detroit Lions has a top 5 defensive line, in my opinion, and that will make our linebackers look better. However, just on talent alone, I think the Arizona Cardinals just has a little bit of more advantage than the Detroit Lions, so I'll give a little bit of the advantage to the Arizona Cardinals in this sense. Let's jump to the defensive line. The Detroit Lions has Romeo Okwara, Damian Snacks Harrison, A'Shawn Robinson, Trey Flowers, and Mike Daniels. The Arizona Cardinals has Talon McClellan, Corey Peters, and Rodney Gunner. No doubt in my mind the Detroit Lions has a major advantage when it comes to this defensive line. They have a top 5 defensive line, potentially the best defensive line in all the NFL. There is no doubt in my mind the Lions have an advantage here, and Kyler Murray is going to feel it. With that porous offensive line, he's going to be getting thrown, waves of defenders is going to be thrown at him, and it's going to hurt him big league. I feel the Detroit Lions have a major advantage, and this is the reason why the Lions are going to dominate on Sunday. The Detroit Lions defensive line is the house of pain and is meant for the black and blue division. In conclusion, the Detroit Lions have a very solid chance in this game to win. However, it is an away game, so usually you give a couple points the advantage to the team that's playing at home. So the advantage that it comes to the Arizona Cardinals is they're playing on their home field. However, the Detroit Lions is packing a much better roster and a team on a mission. Their defensive line is completely stacked, and against the weakness of the Arizona Cardinals offensive line and the fact that they have a rookie quarterback is going to spell doom for them in this game. I have the Lions winning 33-17, Detroit Lions in this game.